having a great big chat. Meet the boys and hear their words. Their brains are full of stinky old turds. But what would you rather do instead? We're all dead. We're all dead. We're all
Hey everybody, what's up? It's Matt. You're listening to We're All Dead, the podcast. And with me, as always, is hard-boiled detective Chris.
I'm running out of money. I don't have enough clients from my private detective business. I only have enough money for whiskey, food, and cigarettes. Sooner or later, the food is going to have to go. Hi, everybody.
I eat
What's up?
ashtrays for a living. Chris, it's
Truly, like, I am hoarse. I've been at a conference and I am hoarse. And we went to an after party at a bar that I helped orchestrate last night called Slim's in Raleigh, North Carolina. Go check it out if you're in Raleigh. It's such a divey spot. And it's funny, I went in last night with a bunch of people, and there was a woman standing at the end of the bar, like next to the bartender that I was trying to talk to, who I had met 2 nights before. And I was like, sorry, ma'am, can I talk to this guy? And she's like, oh, I'm the owner. And I was like, oh, can I tell you how much this bartender means to me? He's amazing. I was walking down the street. I heard a song by Minutemen, the punk band.
yes.
And I was like, I gotta come in and just have a drink. So I came in and I ended up staying for an hour, even though I was on my way back to my hotel, because this bartender was like, did you hear about Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys?
He's real broken up.
Yeah. And I was like, dude, yeah, I did. He's like, you know what? Instead of listening to the Beach Boys and listening to Brian Wilson, I want to play you a record by Dennis Wilson from 1977. And Dennis Wilson was the drummer for the Beach Boys.
Yes.
And it was,
And his brother.
so sick. Yeah, exactly. It was so,
Yeah, Dennis Wilson's the man. He was awesome.
dude, this record was bonkers. So anyway, I told her this in front of the guy. He was like so embarrassed that I was like pumping him up so hard. She was just like, oh yeah, it's so awesome. Because she was like, I don't know. It was really funny.
You wingmanned him.
I wingmanned him with his boss.
Yeah.
I was like, dude,
He slept with his
She's
boss
into
that
you
night
now.
because you, yeah. Really?
her husband was with her and he was a ding dong. He was a real funny guy. He was just like, he was ready to go home. He wasn't really a ding dong, but he was just like, okay, I already ordered the fucking Uber. Quit talking to my wife and pumping up this bartender.
Shout out Raleigh, North Carolina. It's Raleigh's awesome, actually.
It's weird. I never spent any time here, but it's got some like minor Charleston vibes going on. There's like some old school like buildings and that, just have the southern charm.
Yeah, the southern charm, and then a bunch of like hippies and like alt scene. There is like a bunch of like punks up in that area, which is funny.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
Like-
Cat's Cradle, Carborough, North Carolina.
Yeah, dude.
Not far.
I
Near Chapel.
saw Devendra Bonhart at Cat's
Cradle?
Cradle.
Dude, I remember when you told me about seeing that show.
Yeah, he's a lunatic. And
That was like when he was dating Natalie Portman. Do you remember that?
whoa,
it was like
I
around
didn't know
this-
that. Damn it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Damn it, get away from my girl, dude. That's my girl.
I'm a little creepy man.
I'm a little
Like-
weird guy. Dude, yeah, he just like, so he was really funny. I remember Devendra Banhart. Anyone who doesn't know him should look him up. He's like,
Oh my god,
His
You should-
music's awesome.
Specifically, the song "Long Haired Child," which is my favorite.
yeah, long haired child's great.
It's just, I mean,
So at the show, so he's on stage and like his audience is very niche. They know him really well. And
yes, 100%.
some dude in the back started like yelling out some song. It was like long hair child. Like he would like yell out between.
Oh
and,
no.
And Devendra goes, okay. He goes, starting now, any song title you yell out, I won't play. And without missing a beat, some dude in the back goes, Freebird! And Devendra started laughing. He was like, yeah. He goes, I'm definitely not going to play that.
Definitely not going to be playing Freebird tonight. That is amazing.
I was like, whoever yelled that out, it was like no delay. I was like, that dude's hilarious.
That guy he knows comedy right there.
I remember it 20 years later.
Yes. Man. Yeah. Defender Manard is what a one of a kind sound. Like his vocal sound is so and like the guitar sound that he gets when he's just like it's just like
it was him on stage by himself.
He's almost like a sorry, I just like hit my it's he's almost like a male Joanna Newsom.
Dude,
in a way.
I was just
Were you thinking the same thing?
Yes. And which is crazy. Yeah. I've seen Joanna Newsom as well. And she and also
she kills, dude. She is so amazing. She's such a great artist. But
and I would throw Cat Power into that group of like just little weirdos.
Yeah.
Dude, it's funny. I saw Cat Power as well, and she was on stage by herself, and she would start playing a song, and like 30 seconds in, she goes, this song's terrible. I'm sorry. And we just stop. And everybody was like, no, it's good. And she was like,
we love you.
She was like, should I keep playing it? And everyone was like, yes. And she was like, all right, okay, I'll start over. And it would start the song over. I was like, we're here.
I mean,
to see
I
you.
can totally relate to like, if you're in front of a bunch of people and you're just kind of like doing something that
dude.
Imposter syndrome is real, where people are just there's no reason for me to carry on with this, but it's like, no, just keep doing it. Please. That's why we're all here.
Being I've done comedy too long. If I get on stage and I'm like, I have a guitar and I'm just like, I'm going to sing my heart out. I feel like what an idiot. It's so embarrassing.
It is.
It's like
it's the most cringe thing you can do.
Singing a love ballad is so embarrassing.
I would do it in an instant. If my voice was better, I would love to be a musician. It would be so. I love karaoke night.
Well, it is great because you don't have to make up new songs for every show.
It's true.
It's like, what an awesome gig.
Yeah. I was
like comedians get yelled at if they don't make up new shit, and the Rolling Stones will get booed if they don't play
the hits, baby. Yeah. I was out with some boys. My buddy Mike had a birthday before I left here for this conference, and we were at this like funny little bar. It's called a saloon. It was like Westland Saloon. But they were having there was a karaoke dude there. So I went in and I was just like, what is the most insane song I could sing right now? And like none of the other guys were going to sing a song or anything. And, but I had listened to Hollywood Nights by Bob Seger on the way there. And I love that song so much because it sounds like he's about to cry all the time, the whole time. Like those Hollywood Nights. It's like, so
Hollywood Hills.
It sounds like he's about to break into just sobbing at any time. It's just such a great emotional song.
It's a good
song.
song.
I sang that at this bar.
Sad.
It was so fun. Oh, man.
How are you guys doing tonight?
Hey, everybody. I'm having a rough go.
And it turns out when he recorded that song, he was just plain drunk.
He was just hammered on whiskey, man. He was ready to fucking party.
And the bones are their money. Shout out Tim Robinson.
Have you do you have plans to go see Friendship, by the way?
I was going to go see Friendship tonight,
Sick.
and the Terrace Theater pulled it out.
I'm sorry, did you say the Terrorist Theater?
The terrorist theater I go to. It's only for terrorists. Yeah, the Terrace, which is the
the Terrace.
best
Yeah.
only
a
indie
Indie
theater.
Indie theater.
Dude, they
Yeah.
only had Friendship for like a week in the thing, and I think they pulled it because too many big movies came out last night, and they have to make money.
Yeah.
They're like Mission
they're like-
Impossible and
Yeah.
whatever else. Lilo and Stitch will make $1 billion more than Friendship.
It's going to sell more popcorn and candy too, because those kids, they're going to be nagging their parents. So I took a film class in college. It was like, like an intro to film. Like but one of the things we covered in the class was like the business model, right? Like how theaters make money. Because newsflash, I'm old. I'm 42, and I was taking this class in like 2001. So it was still very much like the model has, it hasn't changed, but it is different than it is.
The product is different.
Which is that's a weird thing to say. It hasn't changed, but it's different.
Well,
but
movies are different.
Yeah, movies are way different. And there were a lot of popcorn action, whatever. But they covered like, all right, so when a movie, like they get the reels, like how do they do that? What is the budget? Like what do they have to pay the studios? Like how is this revenue from a movie ticket that you pay for? How is that divided? And how is it like, yeah. So one of the things that
the theater gets like none of the ticket,
almost none.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's like maybe like $4 or whatever, like out of like in today's prices, because it was way cheaper to go see a movie back in the day. But they have like their house nut, which is what they call it. And they're like, this is the technical term, is your house nut. Like what it is for you to keep your theater open, what you have to make.
I can't do anything serious.
Yeah, it's like, it's very fitting for the movie business because everything is fucking weird. Think about any name for any specific grip equipment.
I might have had horsecock.
Yeah,
guys, that's a real film thing.
Yeah.
That's a 4-aught run of cable. It's called a horsecock in film. It's just funny because my boss at the grip company I used to work at, he was just like on the phone. He was just like, he's this real nice like Jewish dude, and he's like, so you guys want 500 feet of horsecock, and and that was like the term. It's the industry term.
And there's bullprick, which is a giant stake that you hammer into the ground when you have a big flag that could potentially get blown away by the wind or something.
A butt plug.
And a butt plug, a junior to baby adapter.
Yep.
Looks like a butt plug.
It looks like a butt plug. Of horrifying metal. Yeah.
What's the baby pin on a screwed into a
baby plate?
A pancake.
It's called a baby plate, but I don't know what else it's called. It is like it looks like a butt plug bolted to the ground.
I heard. Fuck, I'm
putting a light on.
I'm so removed from the biz right now that I forget the term for it, but it was like
a short.
It was not cool to say in front of female film employees that you're working with.
The smallest baby stand is called a preemie.
A preemie. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, fun film terms.
So there's a bunch of there's some film terminology for you guys. But anyway, so the whole reason
we're in the biz.
Yeah, we're in the biz, guys. We're legit. yeah, the whole reason I brought this up was because movie theaters make almost the majority of their profit on popcorn
Yes.
and soda and candy.
Yes.
And it's like where most of their margin is beefed up in their budgets because they they don't make a ton off of. I think with the streaming model, it's less expensive to get the movies. There's not as many shipping costs associated with getting the reels actually physically to the theater.
They don't use reels. They use
exactly
DCP
So
files.
Yeah, they just have like access to like
Dropbox
an FTP server. Yeah, and
literally. Because I orchestrate and curate a film festival here. Well, it's not really a festival. It's just a big old night at the movies called
the Rip City at the movies.
Yeah, Rip at the movies.
You're almost like the technical director guy.
Yeah. So when people give me their videos they shot vertically on their cell phones,
Jesus Christ,
I have to turn it into a like terabyte sized movie theater file so that the movie theater
can play it properly.
So this is a movie file that is only for theaters, and it can raise and lower the lights and curtains. You can make it control physical objects in the theater. It's pretty cool.
Which is cool. I mean, it's almost like the stepchild of optical sound. You know how optical sound used to work on film film reels?
No.
Where the sound was triggered by what frame was playing. There was like a side like sliver of the frame that was being projected. There was like an optical.
Isn't that like 72 millimeter film? It's like 70 millimeters of it is video, and then 2 millimeters of it is that what you're talking about? I think it's like this audio thing on the side.
Yeah, it's just honestly, it's been so long since I've thought about that. I don't really understand like the nuance of how it works exactly. It's been a minute, but
I mean,
it's pretty interesting that they figured that out. I mean, that's like when talkies started happening in the 30s is when they knew how to do this, or in the late 20s, and they had an optical strip on the side of the film that like a waveform almost that triggered
it's crazy
the house sound system.
It made Buster Keaton speak for the first time.
Yeah,
actually, I don't think Buster Keaton ever spoke in film. Maybe late in his career. Actually, he did some later movies when he was older. After he was a complete morphine and fucking heroin addict, and got married and had a child in a blackout, which is true. He said he woke up with a baby one day and was like, he'd been hammered for like a year.
Holy shit.
Dude, Buster Keaton was a nutcase. Because he was doing Jackie. He was doing Jackie Chan level stunts. And he hurt himself so much that he was like, he became a morphine addict, like a painkiller addict.
Yeah. It's a common path.
Yeah.
People, you have like a nagging injury and you have to medicate for it, and then boom, next thing you know, you're fucking.
All right, I'm joking. I skipped all the stunts and just did the pills.
I had appendicitis when I came back from Ireland in like 2021.
Ooh, yep, I already had my appendix out at that time.
And one of the things, like I was in the hospital, and first off, it was so fucked up how the surgeon was like big dogging me and trying to. It was like came in and he had like a bunch of student like doctors with him, and they were like, he was like, yeah, understand you've got appendicitis. You can, I can schedule you for surgery at like 1 p.m. today. And I was like, do I need to go under like general anesthesia? Like, or can I just can it be local and I can just be awake? Like what's the deal? He's like, no, we're going to have to knock you out, bro.
Yeah, dude. It's
and
serious.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, so I'm not sure that I want to do that. And the other doctor just told me that we caught it early enough that this is like fixable by antibiotics. Like I can just take antibiotics and it's fine. He was like, well, the only way you can guarantee that you're never going to get appendicitis again is if we cut this motherfucker out.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. I don't know. I'm honestly, if it's just taking a pill or getting put down for fucking major surgery.
Yeah, and I went through it. It sucks.
Yeah. I was like, I don't think I'm gonna do that. And he was like, this guy's got to call his wife.
Oh no. Oh my God.
Wrong motherfucker to say that to, because I do have a problem with authority. I was like,
Yes.
are you using car salesman tactics on me?
Yeah. What the
I was
fuck?
like, seriously? Did you just say that out loud? Like, are you a doctor or a fucking used car salesman? You piece of shit.
You should have been like, my wife's a doctor.
Get out of my fucking hospital room right now, you motherfucker.
Wow, what a dick.
And everybody was like, oh shit. I was like, yeah, dude, you don't like, oh, he's going to check with his wife. Oh, like the other thing is, oh, you can't afford it. Like that's like a common sales tactic.
Yeah.
You try to like neg someone into like making the deal. I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. You are a doctor. Be better, you asshole.
Yeah.
And it's like, these guys are fucking.
Wow. That's stupid as shit. Although
I was so offended that I was like, give me the fucking antibiotics and I'm leaving now, motherfucker. It was so, I was just so
Do you
pissed.
still have an appendix?
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
I took antibiotics and I went away. But they
didn't work for me. Woo.
Yeah, well, yours burst inside.
Yeah, mine exploded while I was working, and I was going to die.
I'm amazed that happened to you, by the way, because it hurts so fucking bad. Like, I'm not a go to the hospital guy.
Dude, my stomach was already hurting.
Yeah, you were like, oh, fuck.
But it feels like horrible gas is like what and then I sneezed at work and I felt my guts rip apart and I was like, I gotta go home. I was like, something's wrong. And I went
sneezed at work.
It took like 2.5 hours to get home. And then I went to the hospital and then waited for like 2 more hours in the hospital waiting room. And then the doctor, after I woke, because they don't know how bad it is until you go under. And I got put under and woke up hours later with a 6-inch incision on my stomach. Yeah. And they were like, you were within an hour of death for sure.
Oh my God.
And I was like, dude, I was. Oh, and here's the other fun fact.
I came to visit you in the hospital after, like, when you were recovering, and it was so funny. Dude, I walked in, and you're like, "They got me on a morphine drip," and I was like, "Oh yeah," and you just pick up the thing and go, click, 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 click.
Yeah, I was just like, "Hey, check this out!" Clink, 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 clink.
I was like, "No!" And you're like, "Yeah, they stop it from giving me too much. It's fine."
Yeah, I was like, "They have it set up for drug addicts. Don't worry." Dude, I would
put a governor on this thing.
Yeah, I would actually every 15 minutes I would hear the machine like click, and then I would go click, 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 and like get so fucking high. Oh, dude, here's so by the way, the morphine doesn't help the pain in your internal organs. It didn't help at all. I would just get so high I didn't care.
You're just so fucked up you don't even mind. You're like, yeah, it still hurts.
Dude, also your stomach is not stitched up. They put it together with 6 staples. And they were like, that
in case they have to reopen it.
In case they have to open it again.
Yeah.
So
gross.
Dude, those 6 staples, I was like, I have an open knife wound on my stomach. And it's like, that's exactly what it is.
It's 100%.
And I was like,
so weird.
I was like, it hurts like my stomach got cut open. Like, I was like, this sucks.
So
dude,
bad.
One thing I did on morphine, I watched John Cena's The Marine on TV.
Oh, with commercials and everything.
Yeah. And I was so high on morphine. Dude, it was the funniest movie I'd ever seen. I was laughing
Everybody
so
was
hard.
so serious. And you're like,
Yes.
I don't want to be laughing. My stomach is sliced open, man. What the
It's like, these guys mess with the wrong Marine. But dude, I was laughing so hard. It was killing me. Like my stomach was dying. I was like, ugh, ugh.
oh my God. Dude. Oh, well, so okay,
Yeah.
sorry. To put a button on
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I was
sorry.
telling you about becoming addicted to morphine, addicted to pills. I was given a prescription, like it was like Percocet or something, like some sort of, I can't remember what it was, but it was like one of those. It was Percocet with morphine. No, sorry, with acetaminophen or whatever. So like Tylenol and whatever. So they give me that. I was like, I mean, the pain, it's not that intense. It was enough for me to like know that something was wrong, but it wasn't like so intense that it was like incapacitating or anything. And but they had given me like a few days worth of this like painkiller. And I got it filled at the place and I was at home. I was like, I don't really need this. And then like an hour later, I was like, it is still like hurting. And, they prescribed like 2 per day. So I was like, I'll just take 1 and just like see how I'm doing. I took 1 and I was like, oh, this is why people get addicted to this shit. Because it felt amazing.
Yeah.
It was like incredible. So,
and they overprescribed.
I took the second one intentionally. Just like, I want some more of that.
Party time.
Yeah, exactly. And then I was like, okay, so tomorrow I can take 3 of these. And then the next day I can take the rest. And then that'll be it. And I'll be done with my prescription. And I was like, I'm so glad that it's a limited prescription because I would have been like interested in continuing.
Like, these
it
awesome.
felt so good. It was bizarre.
It's like that. I've had, and you have probably too, the stuff that Michael Jackson was getting to fall asleep. Propofol. I've never had it, dude. I've had propofol, and I was like, oh yeah, give me a canister of this immediately. Like I would.
Isn't it fucking weird that you're like, dude? I don't typically think of myself as like an addict type personality.
No,
but dude, as soon as I had that, I was like, holy shit, this feels so good. I feel so like.
It's funny you're finding out like why are people doing heroin? It's like because it's awesome. It makes you feel great.
Best possible drug you can do.
Yeah, that was
feel awesome.
Artie Lang's story about doing heroin for the first time, and he was like in a hotel room and he snorted heroin, and he goes, as soon as it kicked in, he just goes, oh, this is gonna kill me. He was like, it was that good. He just goes, I'm going to let this kill me.
Yeah, I'm ready to die to feel this more.
God, and he's still around, thank God.
Yeah, good for. Isn't he sober?
He's like he's been sober. He's had a couple
like fucking deflated on his face.
Yeah, his nose collapsed because of coke and just snorting things. He's
We've
very
talked about that on the podcast as well. The most annoying guy in the room drug, but
always. And if you're on coke, you are the most annoying man in the world.
Yeah, you're the most annoying, but you're the fucking coolest.
It's weird that you guys think that because I'm the coolest dude.
For $40, you can feel like a billionaire.
Yeah. I like that Artie Lang told a story once about he was on Mad TV and he had to do some sketch where he was in a prosthetic pig face. And he said he kept leaving set with a pig face and driving around LA and getting coke. And he said he would come back and his pig nose was ripped off because he couldn't do coke through his fake nose. And then they were like, God damn it, they'd like keep fixing his coke nose.
What do you do?
That's so funny.
I'm just getting my energy up for Mad TV. Sorry, guys.
Dude, It's funny, like Mad TV, I've heard a bunch of their stories. They were like way more insane than the SNL people at that time. Like they were going hard, which is probably why it was like completely hit or miss, the sketches.
Yeah, definitely a little less consistent, and that's saying a lot for like because SNL can be hit or miss. You know, I'm still a weekly watcher of SNL. Whenever it's on, I will always watch it. But
I have to say, like, the political stuff, I'm like, it's a 0 for me in terms of funny. I'm just like, all their political stuff, I'm just like, I don't care. You guys, I get it. I get your point of view.
You,
don't
Matt,
care.
You are fucking up. You are fucking up with this political take.
What did
SNL.
They do? That's funny.
The best possible thing. James Austin Johnson as Trump. His Trump character.
Yeah,
it's not 100% Trump, but
I've seen him do it.
It's just enough that it makes me fucking laugh so hard. He's like. It's great. Like the aside jokes that he does as like not just the impression. The impression is like I think impeccable. He's like a total dirtbag version of Trump and it's great. But the writing is really, really good.
All right. I'll have to give it more of a go.
Yeah, give it another chance.
I was going to compliment them.
You're entitled to your opinion.
The best sketch I've seen from SNL in years was, I don't know who wrote it, but God bless him. Whoever wrote the water park sketch.
Yes.
Someone dies at the top of a water slide. And 2 EMTs are looking at it with the person who runs the slide. And they're just like, boy, there's a lot of stairs going down this slide.
There's a whole lot of stairs. Man, it's going to be really tough to take this body down. And, but that's the right thing to do. And this girl, Dana Wickline is the gal up there. She's like, are you implying that we should send him down the water slide? He's like, wow, I wasn't thinking about that, but you have brought up a very, very good idea.
Yeah, he's like, if you want to just go ahead and vote on it, we can. And the 2 EMTs raise their hand.
I believe.
Very funny sketch.
Who's the guy who's in it? So it's Nate Bargatze is the host. Who, for my money, hands down, he is the best host I've seen on SNL in the last several years.
Nate Bargatze is real good.
He's just like perfectly suited for the sketches that they wrote for him or that he helped them write or whatever. It like the George Washington sketches where he is playing George Washington. Those are also amazing. But Michael Longfellow wrote that sketch. Michael Longfellow is one of the lifeguard, or no, sorry, one of the EMTs.
I know who you're talking about.
He's the guy who wrote it. I believe he did it as like a stand-up bit.
Yeah,
before he got SNL.
It feels like just a sketch or a state. Yeah, it sounds like it's from a theater. Like simple. It's easy to do.
Exactly. You don't have to have the water slide like to make it like
it makes sense.
An amazing scene. But yeah, he I believe that he at least had the idea and then co-wrote it with someone on the writing staff at SNL. But yeah, Michael Longfellow is actually a kind of a killer, man. He's got some really great stuff.
Nice. I'm gonna let my dog in the room.
Hello, dog. Can we see the puppy? Can you hold her up? Pepper.
There she is.
Pepski.
Pepper. What you get?
Oh my goodness.
She has one broken ear that's always down and one that's always up. Look at that little sweet
She's
baby.
So cute. For our audio listeners, you're missing out. This little
subscribe
is so cute.
We're all dead on YouTube.
Fine. YouTube for some Pepper.
Yeah, you can see our beautiful faces.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some TV, but we have to start by talking about some recent events that are
I texted you
horrible.
yesterday.
Yes.
And I was blown away by this. I mean, it's like nightmare scenario for anyone who ever travels. You think about it one time while you're on the plane is like, this plane could crash.
I think
I
just say it's going to every time, and then I just go, all right, cool. I'm gonna die.
I'm
It's
just
fine.
gonna die today. Yeah. I mean, I have to make my peace with death every time I fly in an airplane. It's fucked up.
See name of podcast. Continue.
Yeah, we're all dead. Speaking of we're all dead, World War III is starting. That's another topic for later.
Oh, who cares?
Yeah. But so I heard, like, I saw, so the flow of this for me was, I saw a headline that said, hundreds feared dead after Air India crash. And I was like, oh, they're all dead. 100%.
Yeah. When they say they presume they're dead, they've disintegrated usually. They're dead.
Huge aircraft crashed slightly after takeoff,
Full of fuel.
like moments full. It was a transcontinental flight from
What is England to India?
To London.
Or,
India to London. Air India flight. And so what prompted me to text you was, I saw an article that there was one man
Yes.
who walked away from it.
242 passengers on board the flight, 241 dead. And there is video online of that survivor walking away.
Yep.
So I saw
Facial injuries. He had some lacerations, but he was not incapacitated and was able to escape the aircraft.
Doesn't know what happened to him. Like, so they were sitting next to an exit door, which means that probably they just got thrown straight out of the plane somehow. I don't know, dude. This is unbreakable. We have an unbreakable Indian man on our hands. Insane. And this went straight into a neighborhood. I saw the video, a cell phone video. You can't see the plane hit, but you can see it going down behind the buildings, and then instant, hundreds of feet tall fireball. And it's like, and the dude's, I mean, how? It's just the luckiest dude in a very unlucky situation. So that person was also with their brother, which sucks.
His brother died in it. Yeah, I managed to unbuckle myself, used my leg to push through that opening, and crawled out. He was in seat 11A. For all of you folks who want to find the most survivable seat to be in.
Jesus.
And dude, 169 Indian nationals, 52 British nationals. And so after I texted you about this, the sole survivor thing just being so crazy, and like you wouldn't read about it. You make a movie about this guy. It's so bizarre. But after I told you that, I saw another thing where it was like these two British guys like posted to their story. They're just like, we've had such an amazing time in India. Like on Instagram, we had such an amazing time in India. It was so like restful and peaceful. We're like coming back recharged and calm. They had gone to like some meditation retreat or something, and then they fucking burned to death.
Oh my! I'm ready to have a nice chill existence.
Yeah, they're just like, I'm ready to go back and start spreading the love in my hometown of London. And it's
oh my god! Oh my god!
Yeah, it's
it's
frightening and insane.
I looked up the by the way, this is just random. I looked up the passenger manifest just to see, because I was like, I happen to know some people who do also live between they live between England and India. I know a few people.
Yeah.
And I just looked, and I just wanted to see, dude, there were 48 Patels on that plane. That's one of the most, that's the number one surname in the entire world. There were 48 Patels on board. Holy Christ.
Shit.
And I'm sure only a few knew each other, but that was just a weird, I was like, damn, dude, India. It's all Patels. There's literally like 100 million. So, okay, so this gets into, oh, and I looked too, because I was like, is it we'll find out eventually what the problem was. It was a Boeing Dreamliner. And
it's one of the big planes.
yeah, which they partially make here in Charleston, but I looked it up and this plane didn't come from here. It came from somewhere else. But anyways, it wasn't new. They've been flying on this flight since 2014. So this plane has been flown a lot by these dudes.
It's been in the mix.
But we'll see if they had a system update right before, because that can fuck the flight controls up.
Yeah.
And Boeing has had issues with that in recent years.
The updating of things, and the updates can be so complex. And change like subtle ways that the aircraft performs in a way that pilots do not always have enough time to handle or like work through how that will change the way that they control the plane.
I believe some of the previous, like the Boeing flight in China that just like nosedived into the earth. I think all of that was, they said that they didn't tell the pilots about the upgrade, and it changed the controls. And they said, they're like, there was no way the pilots could pull as hard as they want on the stick. It's not gonna, the plane will refuse to listen to it was weird. I don't understand it, but
that was the same thing. Like if the calibration of like a certain control on the plane is not working, it will nosedive. And
at 90 degrees the horizon, which is not a good, you'd rather 180 it so you're at least upside down. You can still fly upside down. So this is like, the timing is interesting because the new season of The Rehearsal on HBO is all about avoiding airline crashes. And his premise was that the co-pilots do not communicate properly. And this is like 90-something% of airline crashes is because of miscommunications or someone not speaking up or being afraid that the pilot will tell them to shut up and blah, blah, blah. And
I'm actually the more seasoned like lead pilot, and they don't speak up about an issue that they think deserves more attention, and then boom.
And I've heard
it goes south really fast.
And I've heard this is going to be a hot take that'll get me canceled, but I've heard that this is actually worse too in Asia because
of their
culture of like class
culture of respect
and respect and all that stuff. Who's above me and blah, blah, blah. So you listen to the pilot, which is like the point of the two pilots is that they can override each other and there's two brains working on it.
Bounce ideas back and forth.
So Nathan Fielder, man, his show, The Rehearsal, is incredible. And we'll just say spoiler alerts hint forth for it, even though it's not a spoilable show, really. It's just incredible.
We're not gonna really spoil it, I don't think, although we didn't like super plan out what we're gonna talk about it, but it's like,
there's not much to spoil. It's so insane.
It's it's almost impossible to explain certain things in a way that would make sense just verbally without seeing it like in the show, because it is amazing TV. So one quick factoid, I worked on Rehearsal season 1.
Yes.
In Oregon. Like the pilot was shot in New York, and they, for some reason, like film incentives, whatever, like their production company decided to move it to Oregon. And so there's a whole bit in the first season where he moves.
He had to move
a bar.
Yeah, his bar he had built.
Lizard Lounge all the way across the country, which is an exact replica of the Alligator Lounge in Brooklyn.
Which is in a warehouse in Oregon.
And so I worked on that whole season, and it was insanely weird. Like all the weird stuff that we did, it was like in and around like Clackamas and Oregon City and like other areas. The studio that we did was in like a former big box store in Troutdale. It was bizarre. Anyway, it was.
And we should say the plot, just quickly, the plot of the rehearsal is that it starts initially with the plot and then goes very off the rails very quickly. But the idea is that if somebody's like, oh, I have a hard time, there's a girl that I like and we're friends, but I want to be more than friends. So he's like, okay, where are you guys going to meet? Oh, this bar. I rebuilt the entire bar and we are now going to run through your date 1,000 times with actors and branching dialogue diagrams. So you know exactly what to do.
Yeah. He hires lookalike actors that
they study the person.
They study the person so that they act as similarly to that person as possible. They're like the way that everything is going to be when they're in the restaurant to meet or whatever is like perfectly replicated. The like all the he tries to like bring the most accurate replica rehearsal of the event as possible.
He thinks you can remove chance from equations, which is so funny.
Yeah, he, like you mentioned, like the flow charts that he would build. Like, okay, so in the case that you get this response, well, you have a few different options of like how you would respond to get it back on track to like get the desired outcome or whatever. And the first season was all based around this woman in Portland who was trying to decide. She was like getting to the point where she like was like, it's not a good idea to have kids after I'm 40 or whatever. But she's like, I still am on the fence about whether or not I want to. I just don't have a partner that I want to have a child with. And he's like, okay, so I can set you up on some dates with some of these people. And they were hilarious dudes. Like that guy who kept talking about wrecking his sigh on TC at 100 miles an hour. Like so fucking funny. And then, but then he brought children in at the different ages, like so from 0 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 9.
He simulated
9
motherhood.
He simulated like
for this person.
Best idea of what motherhood would be like
by swapping out children of different ages. And I worked on a movie, this movie Suncoast I worked on here. One of the prop dudes was like, I'm the guy sneaking through the window and replacing the baby with like an older kid. Yeah. So it's funny, they go to the kid's room and knock on the door and a different kid that's older opens the door. It's like shocking. He's like, hi, Dad. You're like,
yeah.
Dude,
one of my favorite scenes, like the only time that I actually really was close enough and the vibe was casual enough that I was like able to talk to Nathan was when we were setting up for the scene where he was like trying to pretend like he was a good provider.
Right. He plays the father in this scenario.
Yeah. He assumes the role of the father against her wishes, kind of like he like kind of like puts himself in there, and like it's super uncomfortable the way that he's like, I feel like maybe since we're having trouble finding a partner for you, that I could be the partner.
I'm the dad.
It's like, okay.
And then all of a sudden he's a father.
Yeah. But anyway, so what we did was we took a bunch of vegetables and put them in the field.
In the garden.
Yeah. Like, dude, it was store-bought, like wrapped.
She's gardening like full eggplants. Garden. So funny.
Like throwing a whole celery bunch with the like wrapping still on it, just like sticking out of the dirt.
That was the great moment in the show, by the way. He looks over at the their fresh fruit like on their table in the fruit bowl, and one has a store sticker on it, and he just like slowly turns it around.
Yeah, it just like rotates it a little bit.
It's just like now it's real.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah. But I was like talking to him. We were standing next to camera, just like looking at the shot, and I was like, oh my God, this is so stupid. It looks so good. And he was like, it's working. he's like, I think it's working. And I was like, it is so working. This is hilarious, man. And he was very pumped to have that feedback. But
season 1 of the rehearsal is incredible. Both seasons are incredible.
Yeah. Amazing stuff. Also, one thing I will say at the end of our season, Last day we wrapped. There was no like wrap party to speak of, really.
Right.
But he was like, at the end of it, he was like, well, I never thought I would be here in Oregon. Well, I honestly don't know how you people could live here. He's just like shit on Oregon for like 2 minutes. Public address to all Oregon locals who grew up there. He's like, I will most likely never see any of you again.
That's the funny thing about Nathan.
And speech ever. It was so funny.
Nathan Fielder, the show is hilarious, but he goes out of his way to not like be funny directly himself during the show. He is very funny. Like,
he's a master of like,
he's good at dry comedy.
The serious funny. I mean, yeah, his dry, like, so it's kind of like a Leslie Nielsen kind of delivery,
right?
Where like he's just like totally like can say the most insane things totally straight, with no smirk. Like everything is.
I'm your mother.
Yeah, everything is so serious that it becomes funny through how like intense. And I mean, also he does a lot of work with like obviously the premises for like the reality that you are seeing on screen is so far removed from actual life and actual reality that it's like there's no choice but for it to be funny, and you have to laugh at it because it's just so strange. And
the show is really like going down the rabbit hole of Nathan's mind. It's really like you're just watching his thoughts on screen, and it's absolutely bonkers. Yeah, like him walking out, he's like thinking about the idea of taking people seriously, and then he like looks over and he has like a clown who has a car. A clown was changing a car tire, and then the car fell on his leg, and he's screaming, and all these people are laughing at the clown. But then he keeps screaming until people are like, "Oh no, he's really in trouble!" And then they all run over to help the clown, and then Nathan's like, "Okay, guys, that's good."
That's
and
enough for today.
And all the actors just like look at him and like, okay, and just walk away. It's like it's all actors. But he just like made up a metaphor for what he was thinking about. Like he's just so strange, man. He's the weirdest dude.
I love that. I mean,
it's so good.
He's such an inspiration, like comedically, like just something that you like. I would have never thought that this could have existed. But yeah,
he's like Andy Kaufman. Where it's like, is this 100%. Real? You're just like, is this really happening, or is this part of the bit? And it's you really can't tell. Like people still don't think he's a pilot. He's a pilot. Nathan Fielder is a pilot, and he flies planes.
Yes. So here's that is the most insane thing. So this is kind of a spoiler for the show, although he's been on CNN talking about how he's a pilot, and he was on CNN and he called it the miracle over the Mojave.
Yeah, I heard him say that on Jimmy Kimmel too. He's like everyone's calling it the miracle over the Mojave, my flight, and he's just like, who's calling it that? He's like, I mean, I'm just me now, and I'm hoping it just.
Who's calling it that?
It's just a regular flight. He just did a flight, which is funny.
Yeah, he just flew a plane, and that was it. It's not a miracle, but he's a trained pilot. But yeah, like the whole narrative of him, like becoming a pilot, like being a shitty flight student. Like he was like,
it took him
my
a long
flight
time.
Instructors said that they had never seen someone who had such difficulty getting certain concepts. Like he was just absolutely unable to like land safely for an uncomfortable amount of time. Like he's like, I'm the only person with like, over 200 hours that's still couldn't fucking land a plane correctly.
And also, and again, spoiler, it's like the entire thing is about like whether or not he has autism.
Yes. Oh, that was ultimately the thing. He's like the FAA like the questionnaire that you have to fill out to be a pilot legally.
Yes.
He goes out of his way to go to an autism center and get like this special like scan thing, and
an MRI.
Yeah, it's like it's but a special MRI that like
they can see autism and different things. Yeah.
That's so weird. But
Mhm.
yeah, so he like, and they were like, yeah, you're not going to get your results for a while. And he's like, oh, I thought I would like immediately get, they're like, no, we have to like evaluate this. And like, it's a very serious,
Yeah,
like,
it's a lot of data.
long process, a lot of data processing and like analysis that we have to do in order to like correctly diagnose like what's going on here. And he's like, well, I guess I don't have the answer now. So I guess I'm good.
I guess I'm good. And like,
Yeah.
that's what, and he's like, this is a major problem on
Yeah.
airlines. Like,
Totally
as-
highlighting like
it
the
said-
fact that it like, I don't think I've ever seen like a comedy show highlighting that there are so many loopholes within FAA regulations that could allow a person who has mental health issues or whatever going and being a pilot, as long as you don't report it.
Yeah.
And your health like bio or whatever that they look at is clear, then you're good to fly. But as soon as you're like, I needed to go to therapy because I'm going through a tough time, they're like, we're going to ground you for like 6 months.
We're going to ground you. And it's like, but that should be the person you do want flying. Someone who is going to therapy.
Going to therapy and handling their issues.
It's so funny. Like, so yeah,
it de-incentivizes you going to therapy or going to like getting health care. Like you're like, oh shit, I got to work. I got to be able to fly to work. Yep. And I can't fly if there's X, Y, or Z wrong with me. So I'm just going to not report it. Like that's a glaring hole.
Especially flying, which is like you're sitting for most of the flight. The pilot is sitting and doing nothing except for thinking, which is like the worst thing for someone with mental health to do. It's just sit by yourself and think and not talk to your pilot.
Pure solitude. Yeah. There's that whole meme. Have you seen that? Like people like raw dogging a flight. Have you seen this?
Yeah, I've got it.
Just like, oh, I just raw dogged just the map in front of me. That's the only screen that I saw the entire flight. I sat here for 8 hours and did nothing, no reading.
I've raw dogged the flight.
Raw dogging the flight. Well, you know who's really raw dogging the fucking flight? The pilot. It's just like.
Except for
just making sure the controls are not fucking up.
The one dude, there's so many things like we could talk about forever, but we're almost at time. But there's an entire episode of the rehearsal is about Sully Sullenberger.
Yes.
And he reads it, he analyzed Sully's autobiography. Which, of course, like he was forced to write as soon as he crashed his plane, or prevented a crash, I should say. Well, he flew right into some birds.
Yes,
but no, he did. He prevented a disaster by landing in the Hudson. But so he's like Sully. He noticed. This is what I love about Nathan Fielder is he notices the weirdest details.
Yeah,
he goes. Sully doesn't really mention music a lot in his book, but when he starts talking about music, he goes, there is one artist that he mentions more than any other artist in his book.
Yeah.
Evanescence.
Like Evanescence is mentioned 23 times in his fucking autobiography.
Save me. Dude, so and he found out from the FAA report about Sully's crash that Sully's iPod was lying on the ground of the cockpit after the crash.
Yep.
And he's like, there's a 13
submerged in water. It was it was like there was a photo shown in the show of it like submerged in water. I don't know if that was the real
it may have been
iPod, but
I would think there's probably photos of every inch of the plane.
I would imagine, but yeah.
So he was like, there's a 13-second pause in the black box recording.
23
second pause between he and his co-pilot. And he's like, it just so happens that the hook of Evanescence's song is 23 seconds. Save me from this that I'm begging. Dude.
So funny.
It's like
he recreates it with he's got the headphones in and he's listening to that while wake me up inside, wake me up and save me.
just solely focused listening to Evanescence. Like, yeah.
Lock it in, people. I gotta land in the Hudson.
That is the funniest idea that Sully would pop in earbud at that moment and just be like, all right,
good.
time to go. It's go time.
That whole episode reminded me, like, I actually watched Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind last week because it reminded me of that.
Yes, it's very Michel Gondry.
It's so Gondry.
Sully growing up.
Him getting like his diaper changed was like the most uncomfortably long shot in the world. I was just like, no.
Nathan played Sully for his entire life from baby to adulthood.
Yeah,
up to that crash. He reenacted it as he rehearsed it. And at one point, yes, a gigantic puppet mother is putting fucking baby powder on his ass, like changing his diaper.
He's just getting him closer to Sully. He's got like a bald cap on and he's fucking diaper changed by a giant puppet mother. It was built it. He
went to a church or built a church where he's Sully as a young man sweeping up the church, and he has a crush on one of the girls that goes there, and he's like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" Like this awkward exchange with a woman.
It's just dude,
Sully definitely, the real Sully definitely watched this show. He had to, and it was like, there is a full episode about me, and it's assuming everything about my life, and it's no way it's accurate. It's insane. They show him breastfeeding. My favorite, he's breastfeeding off a gigantic tit. And it is like the milk's coming out so violently, it's choking Nathan. And he's just like, he's trying to breastfeed, and he goes, oh, fuck. Just him saying fuck as a baby covered in milk. Jesus Christ, what is this? And I was like, it was funny because I'm like watching that, and I had to remind myself, I'm like, this is about airline safety. He's just getting to the bottom of something.
He's just gotta, hey man, he's got to do the work. There's no shortcut to getting the truth.
Oh man, dude. Well, dude, this was a fun app.
It's a good one. I'm glad we, despite the fact that I had a great time doing the one in my car earlier this week.
Sorry about that.
And then we got it together. Hey, thanks everybody for sticking with us.
Yeah, I listened to that 15-minute episode and was like, I don't think I even said anything. This is so bad. This is shit.
Yeah. Don't dive too deep, or you'll. Hey, it doesn't matter, Matt, because we're all dead.
True dat.
True dat.